Jivaya yo digamyate Muktastalo nirbinnam Jiva tatropajayate Tato nana raso jajne Jivaya yo digamyate Muktastalo nirbinnam Jiva tatropajayate Tato nana raso jajne Jivaya yo digamyate From the mouth, talu, the palate, nirbinnam, being generated, jiva, the tongue, tatra, thereupon, upajayate, becomes manifested, tataha, thereupon, nana rasa, various tastes, jajne, become manifested, jivaya, by the tongue, yaha, which, adigamyate, become relished. Translation: from the mouth the palate becomes manifested, and thereupon the tongue was also generated. After this, all the different tastes came into existence so that the tongue can relish them. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This gradual process of evolution suggests the explanation of the controlling deities, Adi Daiva, because Varuna is a controlling deity for all relishable juices. Therefore, the mouth becomes a resting place for the tongue, which tastes all the different juices, of which the controlling deity is Varuna. This suggests, therefore, that Varuna was also generated along with the development of the tongue. The tongue and the palate, being instrumental, are Adi Bhutam, or forms of matter. But the functioning deity, who is a living entity, is the Adi Daiva, whereas the person undergoing the function is Adi Atma. Thus, the three categories are also explained as to their birth after the opening of the mouth of the Virat Purusha. The four principles mentioned in this verse serve to explain the three main principles, namely the Adhyatma, Adi Deva and Adi Bhutam as explained before. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamriyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padagamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindaveshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhudevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today is a very auspicious day of Ganesha Chaturthi, and because the whole world is celebrating Lord Ganesh on this particular day, I thought it would be apt to speak and glorify him in today's Bhagavatam class. So I'm going to be speaking now stories of Lord Ganesh. A few years back I was called to speak at one Ganesh Pandal, and obviously at that point in time I only knew two stories of Ganesh, and I spoke those two stories for 1 hour. And then I realized that here is one of the most powerful personalities in the universe, and I only knew two stories about him, literally. Hare Krishna. Volume. I only knew literally two stories about him, and I had no idea who this person is. And that's when I started to do some research. Eventually, in the process of doing my research, I wrote an entire book on Lord Ganesh, and it has more than 50 stories on Lord Ganesh. And I thought it's important that we establish a very proper Siddhantic understanding of Lord Ganesh and share stories that are very relevant to the world and also very authentic. So with that, I wrote this book. So today what I'm going to be doing is, for the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to be sharing stories of Lord Ganesh one after another. And I would guarantee you, more than 90% of the stories you would have never heard in your life. These are all stories from Ganesh Puran, Shiva Puran, etc. And so as we share these stories of Lord Ganesh, it is a good meditation to have on this festive occasion. And wherever you all go to have darshan of Lord Ganesh, you can meditate on these stories, because these stories will serve as a very powerful way of connecting with this personality. And also, we have Lord Ganesh right in the entrance of our temple. So whenever you have darshan of Lord Ganesh there, you could also meditate based on these stories. So every personality has a mood. Just like Lord Krishna's mood is that of rasa, right? So any story that you hear of Lord Krishna, it invokes one of the five rasas. Either it invokes the Vatsalya ras, Madhurya ras, Shantaras, Dasya ras, Sakhya ras, etc. And therefore Krishna is known as Rasaraj. So Lord Ganesh similarly has a very interesting mood that we will see through these stories. And there is an element of hasya in Ganesha's stories. There is an element of fun and frolic also in Lord Ganesha's stories. And it's a part of his personality. If you look at his shape and size, he's a little happy person, I mean, happy people are a little, like healthy, you can say. So that's the whole mood of Lord Ganesh. And through these stories which we're going to see so much of that mood being portrayed. And of course, he destroys obstacles. He destroys so many impediments. But he destroys it in a fun way. He enjoys while destroying, he enjoys himself while doing all these exploits. And that is the mood in which we should worship Lord Ganesh also, and we should look at him, we should serve him, we should worship him, connect with him. So, Lord Ganesh was born to Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. I am not going to tell that story that everybody knows of, how Lord Shiva cut off his head, and that story I'm not going to tell because that's a story that you all know. So the stories that you know, I'm not going to even mention them. I'm going to speak something else. So one time, Mother Parvati had, she had already Kartikeyi as her son, and she desired to have another child. And obviously Lord Shiva is an ascetic. He's absorbed in meditation and samadhi. So she was thinking whether Shiva will agree for us having another child. So she approached Lord Shiva when Lord Shiva was in the right mood, and she suggested to him. And Lord Shiva immediately agreed. But he put a condition. He told her that you should take a vow to please Lord Krishna first. And you should please Lord Krishna with kirtan and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. क्या चल रहा है? Hare Krishna. So he said that you should please Lord Krishna with kirtan and offering flowers, offering lamps and garlands to worship Lord Krishna. And Parvati agreed. And Shiva gave her an elaborate process of how to worship Lord Krishna and how to please him and how to fulfill her vow by meditating on Lord Krishna. So she began her process of worship of Lord Krishna. After many days of such meditation, one day she saw a bright ball of light. It was almost as if thousands of suns were staring at her. And from that fiery element stepped out Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna had a beautiful smile on his face. And he looked at her and he asked her, "What do you want?" Parvati Devi, she had her desire in her heart. Her desire was, "I wish I had a son like Lord Krishna." And the moment Parvati Devi had this kind of a desire, Lord Krishna said, "Your wish will be fulfilled," and he disappeared. So Parvati Devi was very happy that she fulfilled her vow and she pleased Lord Krishna, and she distributed profuse gifts to the Brahmanas. And then she was with Lord Shiva in the room in the middle of the night. And while in the middle of the night, they heard a knock on the door. And in the middle of the night, somebody is knocking the door, so they went and opened the door. And when she went and opened the door, she saw that there was nobody there. There was absolutely no one over there. So then she was very confused, who knocked on this door. And suddenly there was an Akashvani. There was an announcement that said, "Don't look outside, go inside and look. Your guest has already come inside the house." and the Akashvani announced that you are blessed with a newborn baby, and that baby is already on your bed. So she ran inside and she saw the baby is already born over there. Now imagine what kind of a childbirth is this, No labor pain, no misery, no long 9 months of pregnancy, nothing. Straight away baby is born. Ordinary children are born to trouble their mothers, basically. And extraordinary children are born to bless their mothers. So this is the first proof, basically. They don't trouble by labor pain. So she rushed in and she saw that there was a beautiful baby with, kicking his legs in the air, and he was making beautiful sounds. The sounds that this baby was making sounded like music to the ears of Parvati. And she rushed and hugged him. Lord Shiva was so happy seeing this beautiful child. And the next day, Lord Shiva announced the arrival of their newborn child, and hundreds and thousands of people began to come to have darshan of this first child, a gift of Krishna himself. The Devatas, the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, all people from all over the universe were coming to visit. And among all the visitors that came, one very, very interesting visitor was Lord Shani. He also happened to visit, to have darshan of this baby. Now, the Lord Shani, when he came to have darshan of this child, he came in and he kept his eyes down. He was not looking at the child only. He was keeping his eyes on the ground. So Parvati Devi saw everybody is coming and blessing the child, looking at the child and, taking darshan. But this person, he was not looking only at the child. So Parvati Devi felt a little odd. She went and asked him, why are you not looking at this child? You should bless him. Everybody has come to bless him. So Shanidev, he said, oh goddess, please hear my problem. He said, once I was meditating and I was so absorbed in my meditation, but my wife, she thought that I have no desire to be with her and I'm not giving her attention. So she called me, but I was so absorbed in meditation that I didn't pay attention to her. And she got really angry at me and cursed me that whoever I look at will get destroyed. So from that time onwards, if I glance at somebody, something goes wrong. So I can't glance at your child, something will seriously go wrong. Parvati Devi said, nothing doing, you come all this way, you must look at my child and bless him. Because Parvati Devi insisted, Shani looked at this child. And as soon as he looked at this child, the head blasted. And it is explained in the Brahma Vaivata Puran that the head of this child flew and went to Goloka, Krishna Loka, and merged into Krishna. Now, the mother was really shocked. She fell unconscious. Lord Shiva was totally bewildered. And at that point in time, Lord Krishna comes. And he went to the river known as Pushpabhadra. And he found an elephant on the river bank. He shot his Sudarshan Chakra, cut off the head of this elephant, and brought this head to Lord Shiva's abode. And he placed this head on the head of this baby. And once again, the child came back to life, and it was, crying and kicking its legs, and seeing the child completely fine with the head of an elephant, everybody became so happy. And from that time, this child was known as Gajanana. This is the first name of the many names of Lord Ganesh that we're going to see through this story. So, through all these stories that we're going to discuss, you will hear names of Lord Ganesh that you always knew, but you never knew why that name came or how that name came. So we're going to discuss one by one stories of Lord Ganesh and explaining different qualities of Lord Ganesh and also the different names of Lord Ganesh. Lord Ganesh loved to dance like his father, and he had grace in his dance, and he had a sense of rhythm that was really, really powerful. And this made him such a versatile dancer like Lord Shiva. One time Lord Shiva asked Ganesh to dance for him. Lord Shiva is known as Nataraj. Imagine, he is like the best dancer in the universe. And if he asks somebody to dance, you have to really match him, right? So when Ganesh was dancing, Lord Shiva felt so much proud. He said, wow, my son is dancing so nicely. And it is explained at that point in time, a lot of the devatas, they had come to Kailash, and they saw Lord Ganesh dance and perform in front of all of them. And his hands and feet moved so freely as the drums were beating. And Lord Shiva was so happy at the way Lord Ganesh was dancing that he gave him a title at that point in time. And he said, you are Gananayak, you are a hero among everybody. So that's when Lord Ganesh got this name Gananayak. One time, Lord Vishnu, he woke up from Yoga Nidra very suddenly, and he felt something was missing, something was lost. And he was sleeping in Yoga Nidra, and he felt, I lost something. So he didn't understand what exactly did he lose, but he felt very strongly that I lost something. And he looked at everything that he has in his possession, and he found one thing missing. And the one thing that was missing from his possession was his conch, Panchajanya. Conch went missing. Now imagine, Shankar Chakra Gada Padma, one item goes missing, it's a big loss, isn't it? It's like an identity crisis for Lord Vishnu. He said, where did my conch go, And, he loved his conch, because that was a conch that was with him in all the battles. And whenever he would have to kill any enemy, he would blow this conch, and as soon as enemies would hear the conch Panchajanya blow, they would knew that they were going to die very soon. And today, the conch only is missing. So as Vishnu was searching for his conch, in all the coils of the snake bed, he thought maybe the conch went inside somewhere. He lifted all the coils of Anantashesh trying to look for the conch. Suddenly, he heard the sound of the conch somewhere else. Someone was blowing his Panchajanya conch. He said, who can come to my house, steal my conch, and then he's blowing my own conch? So Lord Vishnu, he realized this cannot be an ordinary person blowing my conch. He decided to go and find out who took away my conch. And as he kept following the sound of the conch, he realized this sound of the Panchajanya being blown is coming from Kailash, from Lord Shiva's abode. And Vishnu was shocked. He said, why would Lord Shiva steal my conch? Of all people in the world, Lord Shiva is stealing my conch. So he was really bewildered. And then Lord Vishnu started having all kinds of thoughts about Lord Shiva. He said, maybe Lord Shiva loves conches, and therefore one of his names is Shankara. Shankara means conch, right? So Shankara means the one who loves conches. Vishnu is interpreting. And because he loves conches, he stole my conch Panchajanya. So Lord Vishnu went with great anger to Lord Shiva's abode, and he approached Kailash. And the sound of the Panchajanya conch became louder and louder and louder. And someone was enthusiastically blowing the conch constantly, And when Lord Vishnu entered Lord Shiva's abode, he saw that actually it was not Shiva who was blowing the conch, it was his son Ganesh who was blowing the conch. He was enjoying blowing the conch, constantly blowing the conch. So Lord Vishnu went to Lord Shiva and said, please return my conch, my Panchajanya, please give it to me. Lord Shiva, he never expected Vishnu to come to his abode, And he said that Lord Shiva had just borrowed the conch from Vishnu. He had not stolen it. Because Lord Ganesh wanted to, blow the conch. So he said, let me get you the best conch. So Lord Shiva gave Ganesh this Panchajanya conch. And it is explained that Ganesh wanted to experience blowing this particular conch for a reason. It is explained the Panchajanya was a very special type of Shankha. It was known as Valampuri Shankha, which means it is a right-handed conch. Most conches are left-handed conches. And this is a very special conch called Valampuri, which is a right-handed conch. And anybody who blows this conch, it is said they will become very wealthy and very intelligent. So Lord Ganesh had this desire, I want to blow a right-handed conch. Lord Shiva said, fine, I'll fulfill your desire. In a small children's desire, everybody wants to fulfill, right? So the father, he went out of his way, stole Vishnu's conch and gave it to his son. And he was just blowing and having fun, basically. So when Vishnu came there personally, Lord Shiva realized this is a very serious matter now, So Lord Vishnu told Lord Shiva told Lord Vishnu that the conches with Ganesh, see, he loves it so much. And Vishnu said, fine, please ask him to return it. He has enjoyed the conch, please give it back to me, So Lord Shiva said, I can easily ask him to return it. But he won't return it. I know him very well, So till he is pampered like anything and we make him feel very important all day, only then he will give it. So Lord Shiva told Vishnu, can you please take care of him all day and pamper him a lot? Then he might give you back your conch. So Vishnu was like bewildered, I mean, have you ever seen Lord Vishnu pampering kids, basically, So Vishnu, he said, okay, fine, if this is the only way I'll get my conch back. So he said, fine. So Lord Vishnu, he said he decided to spend one day with Lord Ganesh, pampering him and playing with him. So obviously, this is a very absurd request, right? Lord Vishnu must have got thousands and millions of requests. But this is probably the only request in his entire career he must have got, where he is being asked to pamper a child for getting back his own conch, basically. So Lord Vishnu spent the whole day with little Ganesh, who was happily holding the conch in his trunk. And he turned he was blowing this Valampuri conch. And because at that point in this particular episode, he was blowing the Valampuri conch from his on his right side, he is also known as Valampuri Ganesh. He is one of the forms of Lord Ganesh. So Lord Ganesh is usually not seen with his trunk on the right side. His most famous posture is with his trunk on his left side. The left side trunk of Lord Ganesh is known as Vamamukhi Ganesh. And the left side Ganesh stands for prosperity and wealth. And the left side also represents moon, which brings peace and bliss. And also, Parvati Devi is sitting on Lord Shiva's left side. So Ganesh, by putting his trunk on his left side, is also offering obeisances to his mother constantly. And so basically that left side also represents harmony and happiness at home and in relationships. And the right side, when Ganesh puts his trunk on the right side, that stands for freedom from material desires and for liberation. So therefore, whenever you find the trunk of Lord Ganesh on the right side, and anybody who worships Lord Ganesh with the trunk on his right side, they will attain perfection of life. They will attain moksha. They will attain liberation. And that is the whole idea about Valampuri Ganesh, symbolic representation of someone who is going to award us liberation and perfection of life. So, Lord Vishnu pampered him sufficiently. Lord Ganesh was very, very happy with the attention that he got from Lord Vishnu. And then finally, at the end of the day, he offered the Panchajanya back to Lord Vishnu. Panchajanya was very, very happy getting back to its owner. And Lord Vishnu was very happy spending the day with Lord Ganesh and taking care of him. So this story is from the Ganesh Puran. So Lord Ganesh, his routine on a daily basis is that he solves people's problems. So he is known as Vigna Vinashak, right? So whenever somebody has problems, they go to Lord Ganesh and he helps them deal with their problems. So there was a demon whose name was Gajamukhasur. And this particular demon, he did thousands of years of tapasya to get boons. And this Gajamukhasur had obtained a boon from Lord Shiva. And the boon that he had obtained was, no weapon could kill him. And once he got this boon, then he was harassing the devatas and rishis like anything. And the Devatas were so disturbed, they went and complained to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva told his son Ganesh, you go and handle this matter. So now Ganesh, he decided that it'll be nice to handle a demon who cannot be killed by weapons. So then Ganesh, he began to go and fight with Gajamukasur. So this demon, he challenged Lord Ganesh, and Ganesh started throwing all kinds of weapons at this demon. And no matter how many weapons Ganesh was throwing at this demon, it was not having any impact on this demon. And soon, Lord Ganesh had exhausted all his weapons. Now he was thinking, how do I kill this fellow? And at that time, this demon, Gajamukasur, realizing that Ganesh has no more weapons left, started running towards Lord Ganesh to fight with him. And at that point, suddenly Ganesh had only a few seconds and he thought of his tusk. So what Lord Ganesh did was, with one jerk, he pulled out one of his tusks and he threw the tusk at Gajamukasur. And this Gajamukasur, just to avoid the tusk hitting him, transformed himself. He transformed his form from that demon to that of a mouse. And the tusk was coming, rushing towards him. This guy transformed himself into a giant mouse. And suddenly Lord Ganesh went and jumped on him and sat on Gajamukasur. And it is explained that he cursed the demon, remain a mouse now. So the demon, he realized that now I am trapped in this body of a mouse. And on top of that, Ganesh is sitting on me and he can easily kill me with his tusk. So what Ganesh did that day was, he did not kill the demon, but he killed the demonic propensity within the demon. He killed the ego of this demon, and he told this demon, you have only one way that you can survive, you can live now. The only way you can live now is if you become my carrier. If you become my mouse carrier, then you can continue living. And now this demon had no other option. He agreed to become the mouse carrier of Lord Ganesh. So Lord Ganesh is the first person who had a Tata Nano. Yeah. The smallest vehicle in the whole creation, Have you ever thought of anyone riding a mouse, This is Lord Ganesh, very unique way of functioning. So, of course, this story of Gajamukasur has many versions to it, but this is like the most prominent version. So again, this story is in the Ganesh Puran. So Lord Ganesh, of the many things that he loved to do, one of the things that he loved to do was, he loved to eat a lot. So he, if you've seen his pot belly, it indicates that he is a foodie. He loves to eat, and some favorite things that he has that he loves to eat. So one day, he had a very heavy meal and he was sleeping. And as he was sleeping, there was some kind of disturbance to his sleep. And he started, he was thinking, who is this person that is disturbing my sleep? Is this some devata that is come to ask me for some help? Or is it some demon that is come to disturb me? And somehow he got up and he saw that this Gajamukasur demon had come, who had become his mouse carrier, had come to him. So this Gajamukasur, eventually he got a name, Krauncha. That was a name that Lord Ganesh gave to this demon who became his carrier. So this Krauncha demon, he came running to Lord Ganesh. He said, please save me, save me. So Ganesh asked him, what happened? Why are you panicking so much? He said, there is a cat that has come to eat me up. And I am really scared of this cat. Please save my life. So Ganesh was thinking, where did a cat come in Kailash? I mean, have you ever seen cats coming in Kailash? So Ganesh was like really bewildered, and he got up and he said, mouse and cats are enemies from time immemorial. And he realized that I have to somehow help my mouse. So Croucher gave him a proper understanding of how this cat has been running after him, trying to kill him. So Ganesh said, "Don't worry, it's only a cat. I'm there." And he told this Croucher mouse, he said, "Get all your friends, other mouses together." And suddenly there was an army of mice. And Lord Ganesh was sitting on Croucher, and with his army of mice, they went to attack this cat, So this cat was like really scared. He had never seen an army of mouse, and on top of that, there's one huge personality sitting on one of the mouse, So he was really scared, and he began to run away, and the mouse began to chase the cat now. So usually the cat chases the mouse. Here now, all the mice are chasing the cat, and finally, Lord Ganesh caught the tail of this cat, and he started spinning the tail of this cat, and eventually he threw the cat somewhere. So while he threw the tail of this, he threw the cat very, very far away. This cat fell in a heap, and the cat got hurt. And in the meanwhile, he heard. So the cat was thrown very, very far away. So suddenly he heard his mother calling out to him. So Lord Ganesh, he left all these mice, and he ran to his mother who was calling out to him. And he was expecting that his mother would have kept a lot of modaks and a lot of food items for him to eat. But instead, he saw something that shocked him. He saw that his mother was in so much pain. She was in great pain and agony. She was bruised all over, and she was covered with dust. And Ganesh was very worried. He ran to his mother and asked her, Mother, what happened? Who has hurt you like this? And Parvati hugged Lord Ganesh and told him, "Do you remember the mice and the cat that you were playing with?" She said, "I am that cat." And Ganesh was shocked that he had thrown his own mother so far away. So Parvati Devi told Lord Ganesh that I am the mother of the entire creation. So if you hurt any living entity, you're actually hurting me, a small part of me. And Parvati Devi explained that, he should be very responsible of whom he hurts and whom he does not hurt. And Parvati Devi, Ganesh felt so bad that he hurt this cat, and actually the hurt was experienced by his own mother. And then he understood that he should be very careful of how he uses his powers and against whom he uses his powers. And of course, Parvati Devi forgave him immediately. But this story, was a reminder to Lord Ganesh that if you have so much power, you should know also how to utilize that power in a proper way. This is again the story is from the Ganesh Puran. One day, Lord Ganesh was invited to a party of the demigods. This was Kubera's party in the heavens. And Lord Ganesh was really so happy because he would get to eat so much of really nice foods. And Lord Ganesh went to this massive gathering, and he ate so much. And when he ate so much, he also packed a lot of stuff to carry with him back. He had become really, really heavy, and his legs couldn't really carry him well. Somehow he, staggered and fell on this mushika, his mouse. And Lord Ganesh, sitting on this mouse, was going back to his house. And as he was somehow balancing himself, when you've eaten too much, you're like literally rolling, So he was somehow balancing himself on the mouse, and he burped. And when he burped, the burp was so loud and so intense that this mouse got scared. And he lost his balance and he tripped, And Lord Ganesh fell off the mouse, and he was like, tumbling under his weight. And somehow as he gathered himself, he was just hoping and praying nobody saw this embarrassing scene, Whenever you do something really awkward, you're hoping that nobody sees it, isn't it? Thankfully, he couldn't see anyone around, and nobody saw his embarrassing fall. Suddenly, as he was just being relieved that nobody saw, he heard some laughter. It almost sounded like somebody was trying to control his laughter. But there was nobody around. And then he looked up. The moon god, Chandradev, he was somehow controlling his laughter, looking at the plight of Lord Ganesh there, Lord Ganesh was really upset. He looked at the moon god and he should have ideally come and helped me a little bit. Instead of helping me, he's coming and laughing at me. So Ganesh was very, very angry. And the moon god, just to justify why he was laughing, he said, "Oh Ganesh, you look so funny fallen on the ground with your huge belly and small feet. How will this small mouse carry your heavy weight?" He said like that, and he started laughing like anything. He lost control over his ability to control his laughter. He was laughing like anything. And Ganesh got very upset. He said, "You are laughing so much looking at my plight." He said, "I will curse you because you think you are handsome and therefore you can make fun of others." So he said, "You're proud of your good looks, but your good looks, your beauty is not your own. The sun is giving you your beauty. And I curse you," he said. Ganesh took his tusk out, Ganesh uses a tusk very often, like a detachable tusk, He took his tusk out and threw it at the moon. And the tusk hit the moon's surface and it created a crater. Even today, when you look up at the moon, if you see something that looks like a crater, that is because of the tusk of Lord Ganesh. And Ganesh's anger did not stop with that creating that crater on the moon. He went and cursed him. He said, "I curse you that from today onwards, sunlight will not fall on you and you will become invisible to the world. You will have no beauty to be proud of." After uttering this curse, Ganesh calmed down. Now, Chandrama, the moon god, he fell at the feet of Lord Ganesh. He said, Sorry, I was only joking. Please don't curse me like this." Ganesh by this time had calmed down and he felt he gave a little too much curse, So he was also feeling bad. Why did I curse him so badly just for laughing at me? So he said, "I cannot take back my curse, but I'll modify my curse." He said, "You will lose your weight in cycles of 14 days. You'll become invisible only for 1 day in a month. And then you'll start putting on weight for the next 14 days. And thus, in one whole month, you will only be invisible for 1 day." And he said, because today, the day on which this episode happened, is a Chaturthi day, it will be inauspicious to look at you on Chaturthi day. And whoever does look at you on Chaturthi day, they will go through false allegations and false troubles. And it said Lord Krishna looked at the moon during that time of the Shamantaka jewel episode, And it said, and Lord Ganesh also said, that I declare that no worship will be complete without seeing your face. Therefore, if you look at many of the fastings that happen in the Vedic culture, looking at the moon before breaking a fast is one of the very important aspects, like Chaturmas fasting or so many other fastings that we do, our Gaur Purnima and so many other fasting. You have darshan of the moon and then break your fast. So the moon god was very, very grateful. He didn't lose his identity completely, but at the same time he got some extra benedictions also. So he went away with gratitude, and that is how the fasting rituals looking at the moon began. This is again a story from the Ganesh Puran. One time, Lord Shiva declared a competition among all the devatas, and the understanding was that Lord Shiva was trying to decide which of the devatas would be the first one to be worshipped before any rituals begin, basically. So Lord Shiva wanted to decide, so he called all the devatas together and he arranged for a competition. And everybody was thinking, what competition is this going to be? Very, very important competition. We have to win. Whoever wins will get to be worshipped first in all rituals. So different devatas were thinking that it could be a physical challenge, it could be some yogic power challenge, it could be some intellectual questions. Lord Shiva, he said, I have a very simple task for all of you. Whoever wins this task will be designated to hold the post for being first remembered by the mortals on earth before starting anything auspicious. The task is very simple. You have to circle the world, the whole world thrice. And the winner will be appointed to this post. So the gods were amazed. He said, what a simple test. So he said, whoever has the fastest vehicle will naturally win this test. And then those who have mediocre vehicles, they will come second. And those who have the slowest vehicle, they will come last. And obviously, all of them were gathered together now. There was Indra on this massive Airavat elephant. There was Durga Devi on her ferocious lion. There was Shani on his crow. There was Kartikeya on his peacock. Yamaraj was on his buffalo. Saraswati was on her swan. So many, the Adityas, the 12 Adityas, they arrived on their 7 horses. Vayudev came on his 1,000 horses. And finally, Lord Ganesh came on his mouse. Everybody started laughing at him. He said, where is your mouse going to go across the world? Will the mouse even go across a few kilometers? So now they all felt that Ganesh has no chance to win only this race. The race began. And all the participants began to rush at full speeds, here and there, at so fast. And, all passed through, went up much ahead of Ganesh. And as Lord Ganesh was going on his mouse slowly, he came across Narad Muni. So the interesting thing was, all the gods also passed through and they came across Narad Muni, but nobody had time to look at him that day because they were all busy, trying to complete a race. But Lord Ganesh felt, such a great saint, maybe I should get some words of wisdom from him. He stopped, offered obeisances to Narad Muni. And Narad Muni was so happy. He said, you are the only person who stopped to greet me. I'm so happy with you. And, so he asked him, what are these people rushing for so much? And then Lord Ganesh explained this whole competition that is going on, And Narad Muni, he said, oh, going around the world 3 times, it's so easy. And Narad Muni told him, so Ganesh told Narad Muni, there's no way I can win this race. Narad Muni told him, why do you have to actually run across the whole universe? He said, the entire universe is in one name of Lord Ram. You just go around the name of Ram 3 times, it's as good as going around the universe 3 times. Lord Ganesh was so amazed. He ran back to Kailash and he wrote the name of Lord Ram and he went around it 3 times. And he went to Lord Shiva and he said, I've completed the race. Lord Shiva asked him, how? And he said, you only have told me once that the holy name of Ram contains the whole universe. I went around the holy name of Lord Ram 3 times and therefore I've completed going around the whole universe 3 times. Lord Shiva was so proud of his son. He looked at Parvati Devi and Parvati Devi also felt, this is like absolutely perfect explanation. And Shiva declared, he said, you are the winner of this race. And that is how Lord Ganesh was selected for the position that we all know. Lord Ganesh is known as Vignaharta. He is worshipped first and foremost in the beginning of any auspicious new projects. Whenever you begin anything auspicious, I remember when we used to answer exams, before starting an exam, we would write, the symbol of Lord Ganesh on top, It's like auspicious beginning. So, of course, nowadays nobody understands these traditions and nobody understands the importance of these things. But it is very much a part of the Vedic culture. So, there was a queen whose name was Ugra. And she had conceived and she was carrying her child in her womb for quite some time. And she had done severe penances to please Suryadev. And the Suryadev had fulfilled her desire. But her embryo was so powerful and so intense, so effulgent, that it was not within her capacity to hold the embryo in her womb for a long time. So her body was like practically burning too much. And then she realized, I need to get this embryo out of my system, otherwise I'll be burned to death. And she released the embryo in the ocean. So Samudra Dev, he took custody of this child, and eventually, when the child was born properly and it was of the right shape and size, he brought this child back to the king and the queen. So since this child was born from the ocean, he was named as Sindhu. Shukracharya became the guru of Sindhu. And Sindhu, he again also did more penances to please Lord Suryadev to become even more powerful. So Sindhu performed austerities for 2000 years, meditating on Surya. And finally Surya appeared in front of him and granted him a boon. He said, Sindhu said, please grant me the boon of immortality. Surya, he gave him some drops of nectar from the celestial, from the heavens. And he said, keep these drops of nectar in your navel. And as long as these drops of nectar are in your navel, you will not die. No one can kill you. So like this, Suryadev gave and disappeared. So Sindhu kept this, drops of nectar in his navel. And from that time onwards, Sindhu became so powerful. He conquered the heavens, imprisoned the Devatas. And finally, he realized that I have conquered all over the universe. The only place I have not conquered as yet is Kailash. So he went to attack Kailash. So at that point in time, the Devatas, they invoked the presence of Lord Ganesh. And they asked Lord Ganesh to please come and save us and save Kailash from being attacked by this demon. So Lord Ganesh, when he heard about the whole story of Sindhu, he assured the gods that don't worry, I will appear as a son of Parvati Devi, and very soon I will destroy this Sindhu. So eventually Lord Ganesh appeared as son of Parvati, and he was a 10-year-old child at this point when Sindhu attacked the Kailash kingdom. So Sindhu, he came to know that this 10-year-old child is going to come to fight against me. So he sent one of the demons named Kamalasura to go and stop Ganesh. And Ganesh instantly killed this Kamalasura and all the demons that Sindhu sent. Sindhu then sent two of his sons to go and attack Ganesh. Again, Lord Ganesh killed the two of the sons. So now, Lord Ganesh, he decided, let me go and kill Sindhu himself. He rushed towards Sindhu. And Sindhu realized that I am in big trouble. So he started running away. So, when he was running away from Lord Ganesh, Lord Ganesh chased him very, very fast. And somehow, before when Lord Ganesh stopped this Sindhu somehow on his track, so first Lord Ganesh removed the nectar from his navel by using his parashu. Ganesh, one of the weapons that he has is an axe. He threw the axe at the navel of this demon and very smoothly removed all the nectar first. And once the nectar was removed from the navel of this demon, then Sindhu, he fell flat, and Ganesh, he destroyed this demon. In this particular mission that Ganesh was chasing Sindhu, he had a peacock. So he was mounted on a peacock and he was chasing this Sindhu demon. And this peacock, because Ganesh was mounted on a peacock chasing this particular demon, he got the title as Mayureshwar. He was called as Mayureshwar. And at the end of the Treta Yuga, Ganesh gave this peacock to his brother, Kartikeya. And that is how Kartikeya gets his peacock. So it is explained, in different yugas, Ganesh comes in different vehicles. So sometimes he comes on a peacock, sometimes he comes on a mouse. So this story is in the Ganesh Puran. I'll end with one last story of Lord Ganesh, which is the very famous story connected to the Mahabharata. It is explained that one time when Lord Vyasdev wanted to write the Mahabharata, he was looking for a scribe. And at that point in time, he came across Lord Ganesh, who is the best scribe to write fast. So Vyasdev, he told Lord Ganesh, can you please write for me? I'll dictate. So Ganesh said, I'll do it on one condition. The condition is that you should not stop speaking. If you stop speaking, I'll walk out. So Vyasadeva said, fine, but I also have a condition. My condition is that I will continue speaking, you continue writing, but before you write, you have to first hear, understand, and accept whatever I say. Only then you write. You cannot write till you have understood and accepted. Ganesh said, fine. Lord Ganesh didn't realize at that point in time this was purposefully done by Vyasadeva. Because Vyasadeva realized that there will be points in time during the dictation of Mahabharata where he'll need time to think. And if Ganesh is going to stop when he stops to think, the Mahabharata will never get completed. So Vyasadeva, he composed something known as Kuta Shlokas. Kuta Shlokas are very tough shlokas. Like say one example of such a Kuta Shloka. In the Mahabharata, in the Virat Parva, there is a shloka which says, Nadi Jalam Keshava Nari Ketur Nagavyo Nama Nagrinishu Esha Nagna Veshadhara Kiriti Jitva Vayam Nesyati Chadya Gava. So this verse, if you just translate it in normal Sanskrit, Nadi means river and Jala means water. Keshava is the name of a person. But here, what is the connection of Keshava to this verse? Nari means woman. So it literally seems to be a very ambiguous and a meaningless verse, basically. So when Vyasadeva spoke this verse, Ganesh couldn't understand only what this meant. He took a long time to figure out what Vyasadeva is trying to say. And then he understood that here Nadija, which so if you look at the whole word, it says Nadi Jalam Keshava Nari Ketur. But what Vyasadeva actually meant was like a separation between two words. Nadija Lankesha Vana Ari Ketur. So if you separate the words, it means something else. What it means over here is Nadija refers to Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev is the one who was born from a river, right? Ganga Putra. So his Nadija means Bhishma. And Lankesha refers to Ravan, who was the king of Lanka. And Vana refers to the forest. And Ari means enemy. Ketur means flag. So who is the enemy of Ravan who is sitting on the flag of Arjun? That's Hanumanji. So it is referring to Hanumanji basically. And then, so like this, the entire verse meant something else only, but it was conveyed like something else. So Ganeshji took some time to figure it out, So like this, Vyasadeva composed in the Mahabharata's 1 lakh verses. Out of the 1 lakh verses, Vyasadeva composed 8,800 Kuta Shlokas. So in the entire Mahabharata, there are 8,800 such verses that will not make any sense to you when you read it. And they have no connection with the previous verse and the next verse. They're just randomly coming in between just to confuse Ganeshji and get some time, basically. And Ganeshji, he was so intelligent. He took some time, but he figured it out, understood it, and only then wrote it. So imagine the capacity of Vyasa and capacity of Ganesh, And such 8,800 verses are there. So that time that Vyasadeva got while Ganesh was thinking, he would compose many more verses and keep ready. And then the dictation continued like this. So Ganesh, while writing the Mahabharata, at some point of time, the peacock feather in which he was using to write, it broke. And Vyasadeva was continuously dictating. And Ganeshji did not want to stop the flow of Vyasadeva. So he broke one of his tusks and he started writing, using the tusk that he had. So Lord Ganesh is considered to be Vigna Vinashak. But for the devotees, he is considered to be Bhakti Vigna Vinashak. That means he is the one who destroys all the obstacles in our worship of Lord Krishna. If you traditionally look at Ganesh worship, any traditional Ganesh worship that happens in any traditional temple, I'm not talking about modern places, I'm talking about traditional temples. In traditional temples, before any offering is done to Lord Ganesh, the offering is first done to Shaligramji. First the offering is done to Shaligramji and then that food is offered to Lord Ganesh. In fact, when Lord Ganesh is worshipped, his Abhishek is done. They put a small deity of Shaligramji on the head of Lord Ganesh and then do Abhishek. So Charanamrit of Shaligram is actually used to worship, bathe Lord Ganesh. So you can imagine the kind of connection that Lord Ganesh has with the Lord. And of course, the Brahma Samhita talks about how Narsinghdev's lotus feet is resting on the right tumuli of Lord Ganesh, because of which he gets all his powers and strength. So we understand that Lord Ganesh is one of the very, very special personalities in this universe that is very specifically there to protect us, to clear all the obstacles that we find on the path of our devotion to the Lord. Let us take shelter of Lord Ganesh on this very auspicious occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi and progress in our own spiritual journeys. And of course, with great happiness and joy, celebrate and worship him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So of course, if somebody wants to read many more stories, you can pick up the book. It's called Stories of Lord Ganesh. And at least there are another 30-40 such stories in the book.